Transportation in plants. In the previous class, you have studied about the transportation in animals. Today, you will study how the transportation occurs in plants. As we discussed earlier, plants prepare their own food using simple compound inorganic sources such as carbon dioxide, water, along with some raw materials, and photosynthesize energy in the presence of sunlight and stored in the chlorophyll of leaves. The plants require raw materials like soil, nitrogen, phosphorus, and other minerals to build their bodies. The plants absorb raw materials from soil with the help of roots, which are in contact with the soil. If distance between soil, root, and chlorophyll is small, energy needed is less, and raw materials can easily diffuse into all parts of the plant body. If distance between soil, root, and chlorophyll is large, it needs much energy and raw materials cannot diffuse easily. In such cases, a proper system of transportation is essential. The energy requirement for transportation also varies according to plant structure. As plants do not move and plant bodies have large dead cells in many tissues, as a result, plants have low energy needs and use slow transport system. In case of tall plants, distance over transport system is large. Why do plants need a transport system? Plants need water, mineral salts, and raw materials for photosynthesis in order to survive. The water and mineral salts from soil is transported into plants through roots. These can only be transported through the water-carrying tubes in the stem known as xylem. Products of photosynthesis prepared in the leaves are to be transported to the other parts of plants. And you know which tissue does that. This can be only done by the food-carrying tubes known as phloem. In xylem, tissue vessels and tracheids are the two types of transport tissue in plants. Both vessels and tracheids consist of thick-celled walls. Tracheids are single-celled, shorter in length, whereas vessels are several-celled and much longer than tracheids. In xylem, vessels and tracheids of root system and leaves are interconnected to facilitate continuous water conduction system to all parts of plant. The water transports upwards against force of gravity with the help of xylem vessels. In the movement of water upwards, plants have two types of strategies. First one, as the xylem vessels of a root are in contact with soil, it actively absorbs the water ions. When root is in contact with the soil, soil has more concentration of water and root has less concentration. Obviously, a difference in concentration of ions is present in between the root and the soil. So what will happen? Exactly. A sort of diffusion, that is water, it will be osmosis. To balance the difference in water ions between root and soil, water moves into root, which means a steadily or continuous movement of water into xylem, which creates column of water pushing upwards. In xylem, the flow of water is bulk flow and negative pressure facilitates movement of water and minerals into roots. Transpiration is nothing but evaporation of water molecules from stomata of leaves into atmosphere. Stomata are the guard cells. The loss of water in the form of vapor from the aerial parts of the plant is known as transpiration. The loss of water molecules or evaporation of water molecules through leaves creates suction or root pressure, which pulls the water upwards through xylem cells of a root. Thus, the losses of water through stomata of leaves are replaced by suction of water or root pressure through xylem vessels in the leaf. It also helps in temperature regulation. During day, transpiration helps in conduction of water through xylem vessels and maintains balance of ions between root and soil. During nights, root pressure occurs due to difference in concentration of active ions between root and soil help in conduction of water. Phloem is another conducting tissue in transport of foods. The structure of phloem consists of conducting cells called sieve elements or sieve tubes, which are thick, circular and elongated. The food that is synthesized by the process of photosynthesis are soluble products like sucrose and nutrients, carbohydrates, etc. are transported through phloem in upward and downward directions to all parts of the plant. The transport of soluble products of photosynthesis is called translocation. It can be done by using the energy in the form of ATP, adenosine triphosphate, produced by photosynthesis. Phloem transports amino acids and other substances as well. These are especially transported to fruits and seeds for storage and food transported to roots for the requirement of energy in the process of absorption of water from soil to roots. Sucrose is transferred into phloem by using energy from ATP molecules, which leads to increase the osmotic pressure of the tissues, and water moves into phloem and material in the phloem to tissues which have less pressure. For example, in the spring, sugar stored in root or stem tissue would be transported to the buds which need energy to grow. Transpiration in plants. We know that roots absorb water and minerals from the soil. But most of the water absorbed is lost in the form of water vapor into the air. This process is called transpiration. How transpiration takes place in plants? In plants, the water required is absorbed by the roots from the soil with the help of root hairs by the process called osmosis. The water is further transported upward through the stems to the leaves through xylem, which acts as a pipeline. Xylem cells have thick walls. Water then enters in mesophyll cell through stomata. Stomata are openings on the leaf surface through which transpiration takes place. The stomata are surrounded by guard cells which help the stomata to open and close. Transpiration takes place during daytime when the stomata are open. Transpiration is also done through lenticels, which are minute opening on the stem. Lenticels are less in number compared to stomata. Transpiration also takes place from the leaf surface. Leaves are covered by a waxy layer of cuticle which is called cuticular transpiration. The cuticle actually helps the leaf to reduce the amount of transpiration taking place. Transpiration in plants can take place by three ways. through stomata, through lenticels, from the leaf surface. Transpiration is very important to plants. The transpiration pull helps water rising to the leaves against the force of gravity. The rate of transpiration is equal to a rate of absorption. When transpiration is increasing, absorption also increases. If transpiration is more than absorption, the plant will lose its turgidity, and this will lead to drooping of leaves, stems and flowers. Now let us see a simple experiment to show that transpiration takes place in plants. Take a medium-sized potted plant, cover it with a polythene bag and tie its mouth at the base of the stem with thread. Mark this polythene bag A. Next to the potted plant, place an empty polythene bag. You can even place a simple stem without any leaves and mark this polythene bag as B. Expose this setup to the sunlight for an hour or two. Then you can see the result for yourself. After an hour or two, you'll see that the drops appear inside the polythene bag named A. The polythene bag B does not show any water droplets in it. Now you know what the reason is. From this, you can conclude that the leaves give out water. Due to condensation of water vapors, tiny drops of water get collected inside the polythene bag A. This experiment shows that plants give out water to the atmosphere through transpiration. I'll see you in the next class. Study this topic well and clear your doubts in the next live session. Bye.